Welcome to Playful Podcast, your guide into the underground scene where we discover topics on kink and electronic music every week. Don't forget to subscribe to not miss out on our next episode.
We're excited to be here today with German DJ, producer and vocalist Perel, whose music has been described as a blend of cosmic, disco and triumphing techno. In this conversation, we speak about her view on work-life balance and how she, as a newly graduate, changed career completely, the struggles she had in her journey, feeling as if she needed to quit, how she works with manifestation and goal setting to reach new levels, and so much more. Let's get it. I am Amanda, and this is Playful Podcast.
All right, I'm so happy to have you here and finally meeting you. If you would say three personality traits that you have, how would you describe yourself?
Oh my God. I think that's the toughest part, and to say that personality, I think authentic. I think I am. Oh God, three. I know one.
Funny. At least you're funny on Instagram.
Yeah, I don't know. Funny is but I'm not thinking about myself. Oh my God, I'm funny.
No. People don't tell you.
They do, but it's not what I would say about myself.
Oh right, yeah.
I mean,
have you ever been like the clown in like when you're a kid or such?
Yes, but that's also because I think there's always a connection between you're sometimes very insecure and then you try to overplay it with funny stuff.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And I think that was the case sometimes in school when I felt like I didn't really fit in.
Mm-hmm.
And then I made some jokes and everyone laughed, and at least, that was my corner. And so, so I would maybe say, if you say I'm funny, I'm funny. But it's more like because I'm observing things. And then I just think, oh my God, that's like hilarious.
You could have started a meme page then.
No, I'm not consistent enough for that. I think also being funny is very situational. Like, it's not always funny. I can't be funny all the time.
No. But this is my view on if you're good with memes, if you're very observant.
I think that's a good point. I think I would myself consider as observant. Yes, very much. I know when we're talking about it, I would say I'm very highly sensitive.
All right.
I'm a little bit too highly sensitive. So that's why I have to shut down sometimes myself, because I recognize too much things, and then I need to protect myself a little bit.
Yeah. Do you plan for like that in your work so that you can like have some weekends where you can just like collect yourself? Right. Or yes, how does that work?
Sure. Yes. I mean, here in Europe, it's really easy to travel because you're back fast at home or wherever you stay, or you have your little hub. But there had been moments for sure where I think like, okay, I need to stop and I need to recover. And it results in that I don't meet as many friends that I actually want to, because I'm just completely over challenged. It's like highly functional autism, sort of.
Yeah.
Nobody knows. I didn't even know. And then, but you put one-on-one together and you learn more about yourself. I think a lot of people have the same, and it's not something that I think a lot of people can relate to.
Yeah. And the whole world is like adjusted for social extroverts. So
right.
It can be
right.
tough to even acknowledge it. Like, I just realized a couple of years ago that I'm pretty introverted.
Me too, by the way. And I think I also have an extroverted side. What do you say, extrovert side?
Yeah.
Do you say extroverted? Yeah, extroverted.
Yeah.
So I have also an extroverted side, and it comes more to the surface when I play and perform.
But actually, this is what I realized. You can be social,
right,
but still feel that you're drained by giving too much to people or like speaking to too many people.
Right, like an empath, like you're highly sensitive.
Yeah.
And yeah, it can train you because you need to learn how to protect yourself. And yeah, I think that happens to me a lot of times, or even in the past. Though right now I know myself better, and I know exactly when I should better stay at home and recharge myself.
Yeah.
But sometimes this can also happen, like recharging, meeting with really good friends.
Yeah.
But that's not always possible when you're somewhere out there in the world, you know?
Exactly. Yeah. Were you the same as a teenager, or who were you then? Like in school and like...
I would say yes, but I didn't really know about it. I was just thinking that I don't feel really connected to the other guys, because I grew up in a very, very small town, like 450 people on school. Like we had 8,000 people living in the city.
Wow.
And our gymnasium high school was only 450 people. So there was not much of a choice with whom you can hang. You just take what you get. And it doesn't mean there were bad people, but how likely is it you really deeply connect with somebody? Most of us, they connect with somebody when you start college or university or somewhere.
Yeah, or you try and then you realize, this is connecting with someone.
Right. I was a hip hop girl, and I was just traveling a lot to the next bigger cities just to hang and smoke weed. That was my teenage time.
Were you rapping?
Yes. Oh my God.
That is so funny. In German?
Of course.
Of course.
My English at that time was, very humble.
Oh my God. But were you... because my view is that mostly guys are hip-hoppers.
Exactly. And that was a thing, you know? I don't know why. I never really thought about it. I just thought that's what I want to do.
Yeah.
And I didn't really know other girls who were rapping. I was hanging with dudes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you... So those were your clique?
Not really clique, because it was just more like I had to travel at least 1 or 2 hours to the next bigger city. And then it was not about really making deep connections with somebody. You just want to experience the scene, something that's cool, just not being stuck in a very small town where you felt like people never heard about German hip hop or whatever, you know, or I don't know.
Yeah, but you also started singing pretty early, or?
Yeah, I mean, it was all connected, rapping, singing. And then
was it connected?
Yeah, in the beginning, it was I mean, I remember playing and composing songs on the piano when I was a kid. So I always did something with music. And then I think the rapping was just something that spoke to me. I don't know why. And then after that, I did all kinds of different styles of music. And we got into indie rock, alternative, and then it became electroclash, and it changed every 2 year. I was so into it, all kinds of stuff, while simultaneously seeing DJ Hell for the very first time in my life, and I was so flashed. What is this, you know? So it was I was literally like a feather in the wind, where the wind blows me. And and it's still I love so many kinds of different styles.
Yeah.
I wouldn't rap necessarily, but
I mean, it takes a lot of wittiness to be a rapper.
I think so too.
Right?
Yes.
So maybe that's what you where the humor and the love for beats meet.
Yeah. I think maybe it goes even deeper, that I just figured out that I think my dad didn't really support me in terms of what I wanted other than sports.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe it was also my rebellious side saying, meh, I want this, and this is so tough, and I feel like empowered. Maybe, you know, like, because I'm the youngest. I have 2 older brothers. I'm the youngest. I'm a little girl. So maybe I just was looking for, like, being recognized.
Or like find your own.
Of course.
Yeah.
Besides that, anyways, you know.
Yeah. What sports did he want you to do?
He didn't want me to do anything, but I realized whenever I wanted some sports, it was not really a big deal. I got a tennis lesson. I had a private tennis teacher. So whatever I did, like athletics or like, stuff like that. It was not a big deal.
But no singing lessons?
I had that too later. Oh, yeah. Yes. Because we had somebody at school, so it was not, you didn't need to drive somewhere, it was safe, blah blah.
And then how would you say your musical journey looked like after this?
I don't know. I think it was tough in terms of finding the way to myself and finding the confidence to myself, because I always performed, I always wrote songs, but I also studied, and I never felt like really supported. So I didn't have the confidence to really say I become a musician 100% and then do what I really want to do. I just didn't dare myself to do it. So I studied sociology and intercultural communication. Intercultural communication. Yeah, sounds very important.
Yeah, it does, for sure. But yeah, anyways.
And while I was finishing my master's degree, I felt like I'm stuck. And I went to a therapist and I said, I have really issues to finish my master thesis. I can't. It's like I'm completely blocked somehow. And I'm so stuck. Please help me. But then I really figured out that it's like the anxiety you have, what's going to happen afterwards. Then I really have to face reality, you know.
That you made a life choice?
Yeah, or you need to figure out what you really want in life. But because obviously you don't want to finish your studies, because then it means like you have to really pursue something that is somehow connected with that, which you actually don't really want.
Yeah.
Somehow this kind of status of being a student protected you so a little bit, in this kind of world. You can still do a little bit here. You don't have to pay full taxes, you know. And so I figured that out, that it is really deeply connected with my psyche, and I should figure out what I really want. And then I made the decision literally after, I received my master's degree, hippie, but then I literally went to the Arbeitsamt here in Berlin.
Oh, you were already in Berlin then?
Yes, and it was really tough for me because I felt like, oh my God, I just received my master's degree and just lining up with people who maybe really, I know it sounds weird, but I felt like I failed.
Oh.
Because I lining up with people who want to have money from the state.
Yeah.
And this is not what I studied for. I really worked hard for that.
Yeah.
I struggled on so many corners of my life to make it through to get my master's degree, and now you're lining up to ask for money, and that felt really bad. I cried.
Oh yeah.
But I did it in order to apply for state support for my business that I founded.
Oh,
right. So I said, I want to make, I want to be self-employed. I want to be a producer and a DJ. And then they're like, disc jockey, not in the system. And I'm like, okay. But all I wanted is some money to start a career where I can focus 100%, and then I would pay it back. Like it's like a starter pack for your business, technically. I mean, I had some shows here and there with DJing and live shows, but it wasn't really the breakthrough moment, which like came by the end of 2016. Until then, it was really tough, and I actually thought I have to go back and get an office job.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so it took a while.
Yeah.
For sure.
Was there a moment where you felt like you got some energy to continue after those 6 months?
I think I had a lot of hope inside me, but I think it was more like a journey to myself and what music really means to me and how it changed me and what it actually really takes to make it a profession. And because the music industry is tough, you need to first really work on yourself. And I realized, and I still have that I don't really believe in myself in certain points, you know?
Yeah.
And to overcome that first and think, hey, everything is possible. Just envision everything, write it down. What do you want? And believe in yourself. I think I had to do that first, and I still do that because it never gets easy.
Wow. So did you start doing that after some time?
Yes.
Yeah.
And then I could really see like an immense change in my life. And then the thing happened when I was in New York, and then DFA discovered me when I was playing at the Lot Radio. And that was literally the miracle for me. This is like, I always say this is the starting point of my international career, or actually my career at all, because before it was just like some gigs, but not really.
Had you been wishing for or writing in your journal like a miracle or something like this?
Yeah, I deeply believe it was a miracle, but it's something that I wrote myself.
Wow.
But I wasn't really sure how it's gonna look like.
No.
You know.
Okay. This is really cool. But then what? Yeah, you said that you still work a lot on yourself, and we also talked before about that that it takes a lot of mental capacity to have the gigs because there's so much pressure even going up there and perform and not knowing how many people are going to show up. And that's something that is like obviously it's not so present for the club goers.
Right. Yes, that's true. I think the more festivals you play and events, and also like I had the whole hard ticket selling experience, which was very tough for me because it's so much harder than you think to come from a club DJ world into hard ticket selling. And you really need to set up a crazy marketing team so that people really come and buy tickets in general. And it was a really interesting and good experience I've made. And it's really so different to what you experience as a DJ before, you know. And that was a big learning moment for myself also, because I think in the last couple of years I was very lucky to have always really good shows, and I played really big festivals, and then to come and do like a small hard ticket selling tour where you just play live is a completely different experience. And I got so nervous because there was all this kind of pressure to, you know, bring it down to ticket sales. And but I also
put that on you. Who put that pressure on you?
I think also the management I've worked with at that time.
So they updated you with the amount of tickets.
Well, I don't want to do like the big blame situation because I could have also just said no, but I felt like I had to do it in order to sell my album. But it's a little bit complicated, but I think what I've learned so far is that I should trust my instincts first. and I shouldn't do anything when it doesn't feel right. It doesn't sit right in my gut. And I think I felt a little bit pressured. I mean, the shows were really cool and they were nice, but it came along with a lot of anxieties that I had where I felt like I'm not ready for this.
Yeah.
You
It
know?
happened so quick.
Yeah, I mean, I never did a whole hard ticket selling tour. I mean, we had such a great show here in Berlin at House 10, and it was really cool. But we also had London, we had New York, we had LA. And I think this is an experience I would have made a couple of years later when I would have been a little bit more established in the US, because right now I still at a point where I want to grow my profile in the US since I moved there. So even though here in Europe, you know, it's just a completely different thing.
Yeah, how do you like it over there?
It's nice, yeah.
Yeah.
It's different. I thought it would be quite similar to Europe, but it's actually not.
No.
No.
What things do you miss?
I just miss my friends.
Yeah, okay, fair enough.
There is nothing else to say. I think Europe has also some things that I don't like, and that New York or LA, where we most lived, have a really good energy that I appreciate. And sometimes it gets a little dark here in Berlin also, like not just like physically dark. I mean, I think Berlin can be really rough. There's no limit, and you literally see that into people's eyes. And so
yeah, you do somehow. I agree with you.
Also, the architecture does something with you. When you're in Paris or in London, I always think that's so cute. I want to stay here forever. And in Berlin is like, yeah, this street is nice, but then the next street is like, oh my God, who put this there? I mean, we know all about the history and we know why this is, but still, there is some roughness here. There is like I'm a Libra. I'm always looking for very pleasing things to my eyes, and sometimes Berlin doesn't really make sense to me. I feel a little lost, but then I think I'll also look out on this window here, and I think, oh, we have a lot of greenery here. That's nice. You won't find that in any other city.
Big spaces like Tempelhofen, and parks and
right.
Yeah, so that weighs up a bit.
Yes.
But you are traveling now pretty much.
Mm-hmm.
How do you have any like practices or like morning practices or some things you do to keep yourself like to land?
Yeah, I have a yoga teacher, a private. We do it online. She's in New York. She either comes to my place when I'm in New York, and if I'm traveling, we do it online. And there is no escape. We always, even I'm still in a tiny hotel room, we're gonna have our yoga session 3 times a week. And I think this was a big game changer for me to have this routine. No matter where you are, you're gonna do it, and that gets you out sometimes of really bad energy, or even when you're tired, you can do something. You don't maybe need to do like a crazy workout, but you just at least stretch and let it out somehow.
We have now come to the part of the podcast where if you are or want to become a Patreon and support the work that we do, as well as get more juicy material, go to patreon.com/playfulmagazine. And in this extra material, we speak to Perel about her creative process, where inspiration comes to her from, and how she triggers inspiration, and much more. Go to patreon.com/playfulmagazine.
If we look at the broad, like continue touring and the future and this, what's your view on like work-life balance then?
My view on work-life balance?
Yeah, on how to pursue it.
Well, that's easier said than done, you know, trying to get a balance between, like, or balance out both, especially when you're an artist, where there is not like an opening hour and a closing hour. It's very tough, I have to say. I think I struggle with that the most. I think that, again, yoga helps me because there's this 1 hour where you just do nothing. And I also don't try to push myself in terms of being creative. If when I don't feel anything, I just don't do it. There's no point. There's just crap coming out then in the end. And other than that, I think I just try to be in touch with my family and my friends as much as I can.
That you feel that they're like anchoring you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Nice. Yeah, you're pretty far away from your family now.
Yeah, I mean, now I'm in Germany, so they're close, but
normally.
Yes.
Yeah. And do you have because you have been mentioning now that you work a lot on your like believing in yourself.
Well, it's not just that. I think I decided to do a therapy. It's called the Jungian therapy. Technically, Jung was the student of Freud, so it's a little bit more like a reformed and holistic approach, and it's really helping me to get a perspective to everything I'm doing. So you're not just in a wheel, and
how does that work? Like are there practices?
It's my therapist. So,
okay, so
right.
So
it's just a newer approach. It's not just like this classic analysis therapy.
Yeah.
It's part of it, but it's just nice to have somebody you can talk to professionally, and you don't have to take care of what you say.
Yeah,
that's the best thing in the world.
Yeah,
you pay somebody and you can say whatever you want, and he'll understand you.
Yeah, I mean, it sounds like you found someone who's really good.
I do have the best therapist in the world.
Everyone's like,
I just really
can
want
you put the link in bio?
Yeah, literally, he's also luckily one of my good friends.
Perfect.
But yeah, we knew each other before, but then he offered me to also do therapy, and I wasn't really sure if this was gonna work, but it's the best thing in the world.
Wow.
Because he's a professional in that moment. He's confidential, so
yeah, exactly.
he knows how to handle that, and it's great.
Awesome.
It's really great.
Awesome. Are you spiritual in any way?
Well, I thought about that because I think spiritual is a thing that when you can't really explain something, or they would say you're like esoteric or something like that. I would say I'm spiritual, but if you look closer, it's just following the law of the universe, which is actually explainable if you go a little bit deeper.
Like energies and like...
Correct. It's not something that is super mystic or something like that.
Not the Holy Spirit.
Well, I don't know about the Holy Spirit. That's okay. I'm not really religious, even though I respect that very much. But spiritual... I mean, I'm trying to keep up the vibe, but like if you ask me about, like, I think that my first album Hermetica was about the law of like the universe and how all these wisdom was already there, and then it got taken out and put into certain kind of context, old religions, but there is a basic universal, or there are basic universal laws that are connected with, we would say, spiritualism. So am I spiritual? Duh, I am, but also not, because it's explainable.
Yeah. Exact science.
Right, it is.
Yeah. It's true. Some parts of it goes just hand in hand.
Right.
Yeah, but from the start, it was a little rocky start the first half year, and then you got up. It exploded. You exploded somehow. after that period,
It was not just half a year, it was 2 years.
2 years.
Yes. It was a long struggle, and honestly, if this DFA deal did not happen, or that they didn't discover me, I would have really gotten an office job or whatever, but not maybe being in the music industry, because I just literally ran out of money to support myself.
Yeah.
I would have just taken another job or whatever, you know.
Yeah.
I just wanted to give myself this period where I finished my studies. I don't have money, but I also want to focus on music 100%. So how can I do that? So I said, okay, here I am. Please, state, give me money. I'm going to start my own business. They didn't really understand what that was, because I obviously didn't want to sell ice cream.
No, yeah,
so
exactly.
It was a little bit difficult to explain, music producer, disc jockey, I don't know. So, but it took me literally like 2 years to really actually make a living out of it, and then like getting a real agency. But it all came along with the DFA releases and the album.
Yeah, I'm still impressed that they lent you the money. Your business plan must have been solid.
Well, I did a lot. I studied. I have a master's degree, so it would be,
it helps.
Like you should know how to do that. And I'm good in writing and explaining things. So, but I also have to say I had to pay back a lot. It was also a loan. It was not like something I would just. It was not a gift completely. I paid off the loan until I think 2019 or something.
Yeah.
I got a lot of money and I all paid it back.
Yeah. Well fucking done. Yes. But yeah, was there ever a moment after that when you could stand on your own legs that you felt like it got rocky?
Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
All the time, because once you're really into like DJing and touring or being in the club electronic music scene, it's just tough. You get not enough sleep, and touring is your main income source. So, it's not like I made a lot of royalties at that time. So, and if you don't get enough sleep, it gets intense very quickly. So it was rocky. And also because I think there was such an unexpected success for me with DFA that I also needed to step back for a second and check, okay, what do I want to do? Everyone was just like focusing on the 2 singles, like Alles and Die Dimension was like a new wave-ish thing. But there were so many other styles on that album, but I just like literally got pinned down to that kind of style. And it felt like, oh my God, what do I have to do to get out there? Because that's not just me, it's just one part of what I'm doing as an artist, musically. But while I was about to figure that out, the pandemic came, and I got quote unquote stuck in the US, even though I'm really grateful. Being there, not alone, but with my partner. But nonetheless, I thought this is it, game over. There were moments where I thought I'm never going to be on a stage again.
Oh, yeah.
There were moments where I literally thought that.
It's very interesting to hear, because you are one of the people that come to mind when you think of the people who kind of are solid,
Wow, this is all, I'm telling you one thing, they all pretend to be solid. None of them is. I'm maybe the only person who talks about it. And I think it's also, that's so normal. You can't just be solid the whole time. No. There are so many struggles. I wouldn't be a real person.
Yeah. Do you still party?
Sometimes, but with less drugs.
than before you...
Yeah, because I got COVID, And I feel like every time I take drugs, I'm sick.
It's so interesting because someone told me that it's not only that we were staying home and got like, you know, like not used to so many bacteria, but actually that COVID broke down our immune system.
Right. I feel that's the point. Like I get sick when I'm touring once a month, even if it's just for 1 or 2 days, where I feel like I have a sinus infection or my throat is itchy. It goes away within a couple of days, like 2, you know, but I never had that. I had COVID when I was in the US. I got really sick and it took me a couple of weeks to really recover from it. And since then, I am not the same. Like, I mean, I feel strong with yoga, blah, blah, but I feel like my immune system isn't there.
Yeah.
And it doesn't need to be like any kind of drugs that need to be involved. Like even if I drink too much, it affects my gut, which is the colon, our immune system. And I'm just like very easily sick.
Yeah, shit. So stressful.
Yeah.
If we look at the techno scene or like electronic music scene, it's been growing pretty quickly over the pandemic and after. Do you have any like fears and hopes for it?
Honestly, no. No, because there's no sense about this, because the scene will always do its own thing. You can't push it in any direction. That's the nice part about it, about also underground, that it's just like brewing its own little thing that's completely out of your control. So it's like telling your teenager kid, don't do it. Of course it will. You know, and I also don't think about it because I'm just really trying to focus on myself and my little bubble. It sounds weird, but, you know.
Sounds healthy.
Yeah, I kind of think so too. And I just want to focus on what's inside me and not trying to overthink in general, just doing what comes naturally out. And then somehow it will fit in there or not. But in the end of the day, I think it's so important to never lose your little signature, your niche. I love all the new like trends and hypes that pop up every now and there, but it doesn't necessarily mean I have to transform. I just can, like, I'm inspired by it, like playing maybe with some young kids, like 20 years old, like that hot rave techno, whatever. It's cool, but it like for me, it's not like that's my new style. It's just like, you know, it's cool to see what's out there.
Yeah.
And then let's see. I think also, like what I experience is that like it comes in waves.
Yeah. You never feel that you have to adapt your music to the trends?
I think the extremer a trend is, the less it stays. You know. Not because I say so, I just observe that. So and it's cool to let it all out, but once it's out, I think, okay, yeah, then let's go back to normal. No, I'm just saying, like, yeah, let's see. I think like classic, quote unquote, classic techno that is rather like too fast, not too aggressive, will always be there. I think same like for house music, disco, whatever. I think, but it's also good to have extreme forms of it. It's very important to
challenge it.
Exactly. Also to see and make every aspect and facets of our people here like seen.
Yeah. I think it's super inspiring for many people to hear your story and that you were almost giving up before something clicked. Is there any advice that you would give to newer DJs?
Yeah, I always like, because that's not the first time I hear this question. I think the most important thing, and I should give that advice to myself every day, is like really not trying to compare yourself, because that's your artistical death. You want to create something that is so unique, and you are unique just by being you. Just try to figure out who you are and what you want to show, but don't follow any trends, because the trends you're trying to hop on is over tomorrow. And you really have to find your own way through, and don't get disencouraged if things are not happening right away. Also, like if you think you, I don't know, maybe even you're out there since a couple of years and you're facing like a new generation is overrolling you or whatever, just let it happen for a second, because I think my agent told me always, there is a niche for everything. You just have to grow in your niche or create that niche, and you can only do it if you're not like doing something that somebody else does. Even though it's very tempting to do so, because of when something gets a lot of attention, you know, then you want to hop on because you want to be part of it. But it's nice. You can be part of it, but just always try to think about, who am I, and what is am I this, or is this just like, you know?
Yeah, I mean, that's also such a huge question. It's so easy to get confused with, I feel like, with what you enjoy and who you are.
Right. And I enjoy a lot of things. I love techno. I love like so many other things that I personally maybe wouldn't play. I mean, I do play techno, but I don't play dark, deep techno. I play my version of it. But it doesn't necessarily, I even love really good pop music, jazz, even heavy metal. There's something really great out there. Anyways, I'm just saying I don't need to end up making heavy metal, you know? So
no, exactly.
Just go out there, enjoy it. And then...
Was it easy for you to find your style and your...
No, it wasn't, because I made the same mistakes. I just felt like I need to do something in order to make money. And then I felt like I just try a kind of style in the beginning that's very minimalistic, because it was like very en vogue to play like some minimalistic house. But it felt like a pain in the ass producing it, and I was not very successful with it. And then I just literally was thinking, okay, I have nothing to lose. And then I started making music. It was just absolutely not what I did before.
Where the flow is, kind of.
Correct.
Interesting. That's a huge tip, actually.
Yeah.
When you feel you push, but you're like,
right,
it's thick and you cannot get through.
And interestingly, a friend came over and said to me, what is this? What are you doing? This is not, what is this? This is, what kind of genre is that? This is not techno. This is not house. What are you doing? And I said, I don't know. It's something. I couldn't really put a tag on it. Nothing.
Yeah. Wow.
That was my album on DFA. I had it ready already, but then we were just like working on it a little bit more, finalizing, blah, blah. But technically I was working on my album for DFA. And then later he came by and apologized a year later with some flowers. I said, I was wrong.
That is such a good friend. Acknowledging and coming to you and celebrating your success.
Per, if you're watching, you know.
All right. So if you would go back in time to tell the younger, hopeless you some words of wisdom or some inspiration or some uplifting things, what would you say?
I would say chill, relax, just focus on the music. Don't overthink too much. It will all come together. Just trust in yourself and understand that there's always a balance between shitty stuff and good stuff, and it will that's life technically. In order to find happiness, there is no stagnation in either or. And that is something you have to understand, you know, like don't get too stuck in something. It is always transforming, shifting, moving. And when there is a bad time, there will be a good time, and things can change. You can get a different perspective on things, and really just never do something you're not feeling comfortable with. Really follow your instinct, your gut, I would say.
Amazing. Thank you so much. All right, I have some this or that questions for you.
Some what?
This or that questions.
Okay.
So you'll say which one of them you prefer. So probably it's one of them or none or both, but preferably one.
Questions.
Yeah, statements.
Statements. Okay, gotcha.
It's either this or it's that. This is this or that.
So FKK or bathing suit?
Bathing suit.
Not a real German.
No, I think it has to do with the experience that I made. So,
but your family?
They're cool. Like,
Yeah.
they're East German, of course, FKK. But my generation is bathing suit.
All right, fair enough. Introvert or extrovert?
Introvert.
Yeah, but pretty social.
Yeah, I like a functional introvert.
Yeah. High on life or whatever comes your way along the night?
It comes away.
Comes away, goes away.
Yeah.
All right. Comfort or fashion?
That's tough.
Maybe both.
I would say both. Because I don't feel comfortable if it's not fashionable, but if it's fashionable and not comfortable, what's the point?
Feel you, for sure. Voice message or text only?
I have to say I leave voice messages on WhatsApp.
To anyone?
But I never leave a voicemail. Who does that?
No, I meant voice messages.
You're the only person I know who does it. You're so 90s.
Cute though. You have something to listen to, but is it on the phone? Like
literally, like you don't answer the phone. Hey, it's Charlie. Can you call me back? Yeah, I see you called me. Of course I call you back, but it's like so mommy 90s. Hi, call me now.
That's really cute because then you want to listen to the voicemail because it's only short. But when you see it's a long voicemail and it's about work.
Okay, so let's be honest. I get maybe 3 voice messages a year, and that's only from O2. And you.
Okay, so you.
That's cute.
Yeah. Okay. Hit the gym or dance in clubs?
Both also, because when I DJ, it's aerobic. I'm not standing still. I literally move all the time, and I have a sports bra on, like
yeah.
And but also the gym, because it's a different kind of workout.
Is it? You mean lifting things then?
Yeah.
Okay.
Lift,
yeah, exactly. You lift. Wow.
I tone and lift things. Yes.
Oh, awesome. Great. Psychology or spirituality?
Spirituality, because nowadays both is also connected. It's not like this and this anymore. Yeah.
Yeah. Hugs or kisses?
Charlie. Both. How could you decide for one?
I don't know.
But I think more hugs, because you don't want to have kisses from everyone.
No.
You know?
Yeah, no. But are you a huggy person?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Nice. Okay. Bad breath or smelling sweat? What's the worst?
Oh my God.
No, what's the best, I mean?
The best?
The best. What do you prefer?
Do you want me to literally ask me if I prefer a bad breath or somebody who smells?
Yeah. By the two.
Oh my God. I think both can be so horrible.
Yeah.
Like literally horrible.
In the clubs, I feel...
Bad breath?
No. I never... In clubs, I always... Like, it's so much smoke, so it's only sweat that goes through that, I feel.
Right. I think I always feel like in clubs I don't smell anything at all, because I feel like my nose is completely clogged.
You're also a little bit protected. most of the time.
No, also when I went out here in Berlin, I felt like also because you smoke, you drink.
Yeah.
I feel like you're just completely not your nose is somewhere else. I'm not just meaning like you're taking drugs. Oh my god, sounds terrible. No, I mean like also without taking any sniffing drugs or whatever. You just there's so much smoke everywhere, as you say. Like you don't smell really anything. So I think it doesn't matter if you have a bad breath or you stink. Like
both are the same.
Your pits, like it's the same.
Okay. Okay.
It's a very philosophical. I can't say it.
Philosophical.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Alone time in the studio or together with others?
Oh, of course, alone in the studio.
Makes sense. Reality shows or documentaries?
Documentaries.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Which ones are the best? Any new tip?
Ooh, I watched so many good documentaries. Oh my god. I can't even remember, Charlie. What was the last documentary you watched?
You watched the George Michael one, was the last one that you watched.
Oh.
Yeah, I really loved that and I cried.
Okay. That I'm gonna see it.
Yeah,
I
that was.
also watched the Val Kilmer one and it's fantastic. But I don't know if he's like a European like relevant person.
No, I think the George Michael thing's more like a European thing.
I know, that's what I said.
Yeah.
Perfect. Kids or animals?
Animals. Ooh. Yeah.
Club mate or beer?
Club mate.
Club mate. Ooh. Thank you so much. I'm like...
This was it for Playful Podcast this week, but please follow, subscribe, and listen to our next episode. And if you want to have a say about future artists, or even ask your own question to one of our guests, follow us on Instagram and make sure to add your question when we lift our coming guests. Thank you so much for joining and see you next week.